Hello fiction writers. I am going to start right in with your first assignment. And your assignment this week is going to be to write a story. And you might look at that and say, it's pretty vague. Well, I'm leaving it intentionally vague because I want you to have some freedom this week to figure out what you want to do, where you want to go with it, and what your approach is going to be. Now, when I say story, story could refer to a lot of different things. So it could be something called a short story, which people also refer to now as flash fiction. And this is a story, a piece of fiction that is, as you can imagine, very short. It is under, it's usually under 1,000 words, which could be anywhere from, say, 1 to 2 to 3 pages. So this could be as short as 1 page. You can have a piece of flash fiction or a short story that takes 1 page, 300 words, nothing more. Another thing that story could mean is it could mean a short story. A short story can be much longer. It can be anywhere from, say, 3 pages to around 50 pages. And it is typically under 40,000 words. Now, when you get up above 40,000 words, I mean, the boundaries are a little vague. You can have things moving a little bit in between these boundaries. But when you get up much higher, then you start getting into the territory of a novella or even a novel. And that is going to be 40,000 words plus, up above there. Now, I don't expect you to write a novel this week, but if you are working on a novel, and I do know at least one member of the class is, then when I say write a story for her, it might mean 2 more pages, 3 more pages, whatever her pacing is, 5 more pages of her novel, and that's her story for the week. For other people who aren't in the process of writing something, you might think, well, I'm just going to do a short story. You might start it and then discover, actually, I think I'm going to need to skip into the short story zone because this is what I want to do here is going to take me more than 3 pages. That's my cat. I knew this was going to happen. Yeah, Beazle, you can meet everybody. Oh, he's really loud. Say hello, Beazle. And usually after I pick him up, he stops for a bit. So we'll see if that works. Go ahead. Let's see, where were we? Oh, so 3 types of story, and I want you to have the freedom to experiment to see where you'd like to go with it. One thing all the stories will have in common, I'll grab a different color here, they're all going to have some kind of problem or conflict, and they're going to have some kind of resolution to that problem or conflict, which is also referred to, I love this word, as the denouement. And I love this word because literally it translates from the French as untying the knot. So you have your problem, you have your conflict, and then you untie it at the end of the story. So those are 2 things they're going to have in common, and you may have seen this before. People generally talk about a story as having a story arc. And an arc, a typical arc would look like this, right? So you'd start here where you introduce your story. You've got your problem or your conflict, and things are building. Somewhere up here, you reach the climax, the problem or the conflict gets resolved, and then you just have a final little bit to finish up the story, to untie it. People also, instead of an arc, because quite often when you reach the climax, there's not a lot happening afterwards. So sometimes people say that a story, instead of an classical arc follows more of an upside down check mark, where you start here and you build and you build and you build and you build and you build, reach your climax, things get resolved, and you finish it up. So your story, whether it is a novel of 100,000 words plus, or if it is a short story or flash fiction, which is only one page, it's still going to have this basic structure. Things have to happen in a story. Something has to happen. You can't just write about a character and have that character not change at all, because that would just be a character sketch. So that's what separates a story from other pieces of writing. You're going to have a problem, you're going to have some kind of resolution. And so your assignment is to start that. If you choose flash fiction, you may very well finish your story this week. If you are writing a novel, you may not. You may get a few pages. If you decide you want to begin to explore writing a chapter book, maybe you get a chapter this week. Maybe you get one page. It's going to be up to you. So that is your assignment.